Well, hello everybody, and I am a little bit early. I think I have to turn the lights on. That's a little bit better. Hey Todd, how are ya? Gulf Coast, how are ya? And I'm actually a couple minutes early, I think. But my clock and my thing, I think I'm supposed to actually start at 9:15 instead of 9 o'clock. But it was like, whoo, am I late? I was trying out, instead of StreamYards that I'm using, there's a thing that's called Streamlabs. And Gulf Coast, how are you? Have you been busy this week? I'm trying it out, but it's just so much more complicated than StreamYards. But you're supposed to be able to do all kinds of other things. And you're supposed to be able to, when you're live, you're supposed to be able to have it on YouTube, on like Facebook, Twitter, all those other different things, Twitch, all at the same time. So I was playing with it and I was going like, oh, and then my alarm went off and it was like, oh no, I'm going to be late. Have you been finding lots of good scrap? Oh, Nisi's here. How are ya? I'm in your ads at the moment. I'm in your ADs. I don't know what that means. I'm always calling my kids and going, what do those letters mean? Or I have to Google it to find out what those letters mean. Yeah, I was on Nisi's, she had 800 subscribers and she was doing giveaways and she had 5 ladies up on the board with her and they were silly and fun and it was nice watching it. And I was actually multitasking at the same time. And it was just real interesting to see. Oh, she says, okay, I can see and hear you now. I'm a little bit early, Nisi. Not much street scrapping this week. Been busy breaking down scrap. I find it interesting because like this week I did a video on, we had this old clothesline when we got the house. And, you know, it's not long and straight, it's square. So it has arms that come out and it works really good if you don't have a lot of space because you just twirl it and then put more things on the clotheslines and twirl it again. Well, it was rusting out at the bottom. And so we had gotten a new one and just installed it, which was easy to do. And I didn't want to throw it away because that top part of the metal was so good still. But I took the clothesline out because it was really worn. Who knows how long it was there, 20, 30 years, who knows. And I turned it upside down, took twine and strung it all the way through. Hi, Mary. And then I planted peas, 4 different types of peas. And so I'm just going to let the peas grow up. And you can spread it farther, but I only did it so it's about 3 by 3 by 3. All the sides are about 3 feet because it's in my garden and I'm limited to space. So I just thought, why not? So Mary, hello, how are you? And Sue, only high 70s and breezy here in Florida today. That is beautiful weather. Joe always says the perfect weather is about 70 to 75 degrees. He just loves it when it's like that. And Sue, have you been in one of my lives before? If you haven't, thanks for stopping by for your very first time. And today we are supposed to be, I think, 90. It's supposed to be a little bit warmer than yesterday. So I've been busy this morning. I've already raked up a whole bunch of stuff because Ellie, our neighbor behind us, she's 86. She had this tree that should be going up like this, but it was going like this. And Joe was really afraid that eventually it'd either fall on her shed or fall on our property on my little fruit trees. So he went over and knocked on her door and wanted to know if he could trim it. And then when he started trimming it, it was really pretty rotten in a lot of the spots. She said it had, when she bought her little place 30 years ago, it was there. So it's so we cut it all down and we saved the big pieces because I'm going to get a fire pit, or we're going to make one of the two. So we goes to the they call it a transfer station down here, and they transfer waste, branches and leaves and stuff like that, and do stuff with it. And look who else is here. Hi, Karen. How are ya? Karen says, good morning, Sandy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for showing us how you could roast strawberries. Oh, I have to tell you that is so delicious. And you could use other fruit. And in fact, I might try an orange cream soda. And, I'll use the vanilla, but I might use some other kind of spice with it too. But I took some over to my dad because he hasn't ever tried my cream soda before. And he drinks it, and then he drinks some more. And he says, that's pretty good. And when Joe got home from golfing yesterday, he drank a great big glass of it. And he said, man, that's refreshing. So I was happy they liked it. Something to know, Karen. If somebody didn't want the pieces of strawberry, and I should have mentioned this on the video, you could always strain it when it was all the way done. But I don't mind all those pieces of strawberry. But you can just do so many things with roasted strawberries. And the flavor in your house, you will just not believe. It is just so fabulous. But you'll have to check your oven, because if your oven runs hot, you might do it at the 345, 340. If it runs cold, you might go up to 355, 360. But just keep watching it about every 20 minutes and it's perfect. Well, this morning, I thought we'd talk about Halloween. Now, some people celebrate Halloween. Some people are very opposed to Halloween. Some people do what they call fall harvest because there's a lot of things harvesting, and you got scarecrows and you got pumpkins, and it's a beautiful time of the year. So I wondered what people did. Or do you shut the shutters, pull down the drapes, the blinds, turn your lights out, and not answer your door when those little kids come in their cute little costumes knocking on the door because they want some candy? So I wanted to know what people did. And Nisi says that she does fall harvest. See, I find that much funner than Halloween because you can celebrate for a long time. You don't have to just do it one day. You got your pumpkins out there. They're all carved, which there are some fabulous carvings of pumpkins. And she says that we live on the mountain, so no kids here except our son. I asked my mom how many kids came through the village, because there is I don't know how many little houses are in the village here. And she says they don't. And she doesn't know if it's because it's you have to be 55 or older to be able to live here. And the kids figure that they're not going to get candy from old people. I don't know. But she said in the whole time that they have lived here, they had trick-or-treaters one time, and they were older kids about 9 o'clock. So I thought that was interesting. But they do have all kinds of stuff all over town. They have all these things called trunk or treat, which I thought was a great idea. And places been doing that for a long time, but then with the craziness, I suppose more people are doing that. They have a whole bunch of stuff downtown, and they have activities all over today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So that's fun. Nisi says, we take Z to the pumpkin patch and to a church trunk and treat. See, a trunk and treat. And other fall fun activities through Thanksgiving. It's a 2-month-long celebration. See, that's what I think too. You can celebrate and celebrate if you're doing a harvest fest, because there's just so many things. And there's a lot of places that do pumpkin patches, or back home, there's a place that does a corn maze. And for about a month, kids can go through the maze, and the corn is, 10, 12 feet high, and it is just great fun for the kids. Karen says, this will be our first time in 18 years that we won't have dozens of trick-or-treaters, because now we live in a 55 plus gated community. Ours isn't gated. She saved $75 in candy. I was at the store, and Mom said that we were going to have trick-or-treaters, but I was just kind of seeing, how much candy was. It was a crazy amount. You get this bag and they wanted $14.95 for a bag of candy. I thought that could add up really fast, because back home we live across from the school. And so we do have trick-or-treaters. And I have to say, sometimes we've gone out, and by the time we get back, I just leave the porch light off, because it's late. And I don't think trick-or-treaters should be out, 8 o'clock at night. They're little teeny kids. They don't need to be out that late. And I figure it's just older kids if they stop by. So, and sometimes they ring the doorbell anyway, even with my porch light off. You're right, Karen. They have skyrocketed. And I find that could be hard for some people, because they want to do the trick-or-treating, but a lot of people are on, fixed incomes. And where it used to cost you $5, $6, $7 for a big bag of candy that you could hand out for all the kids, now it's going to cost you $15, $30, depending on how many kids you have. And that's a tough thing. But how many people carve pumpkins? Because I love carving pumpkins. And this year, I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do the video next week. I'm taking one of, I guess a lot of people call them Cinderella pumpkins. It's any kind of pumpkin that has a lot of ribs. Okay. And I'm going to do a video next week that you take that, then you put moss down on top of it. You're not carving it at all, so it's more fall festival kind of thing. And then you actually hot glue succulents onto it. You pull the whole succulent out with the root, trim off any bad roots, and you're going to nestle that into the moss. And you would think that it would kill the succulent, but it doesn't. It doesn't need a lot of hot glue, and you can use the cold sticks, which are melted, but they're not hot like the other ones. And they'll literally start to root in the moss. And so it'll last you all the way through Thanksgiving easily. So that's kind of fun. And so I'm going to have a video up next week about that. But Todd says, it is 52 degrees last night, and today's high will be 62 here in Independence, Louisiana. How is the weather there? Because is there like storms coming in? I heard tornadoes, and I'm not sure if it's hurricanes or if it's just weather. I only saw part of what they were talking about. Karen says that we tried a new way to carve them using cookie cutters and a hammer. That is interesting. Now, so do you put it's a metal cookie cutter, I'm assuming. So you put it next to the pumpkin and then you just tap it? Is that what you're doing? I might have to buy a pumpkin just to try that. Because that is interesting, because you could have some fabulous designs then. Are you doing a video about it, Karen? So she says yes. And let me know if you're going to do a video about that, because that would be interesting. Even though it's going to, even if you don't get it done this weekend, it could be interesting, because the possibilities on that. And like you could have a turkey cookie cutter, and where that would be difficult to carve all out, you could just tap that. Well, look who's here, Farmstead Smith. Adrienne, how are you? Is this a different channel that you have? Or did you change the name of your channel? I am so far behind on videos. Since we've been here, I don't know, 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks that we've been here. And I have to tell you, basically, from the time we get up in the morning till the time it gets pure pitch dark, we are outside doing stuff in the house. And do you see behind me? I took those weird 70s funky things off around the lights. I just couldn't stand it. The house was made in like 1976. And why somebody didn't take that off, I don't know. Karen says that they did it at her grandson's house, but I'll try and make one. See, I think that would be a great video to make. Very interesting. And even if people have already done it, their pumpkin carving, they might buy another pumpkin just to try it. I think I'm going to go buy a pumpkin today and try it. Oh, it's just the Farmstead Smith channel. I'm changing the name because content is changing. Oh, interesting. I like the idea that our channels evolve and they change some, and that's really cool. Teresa, oop, wrong one. Teresa, how are ya? Thanks for stopping by this morning. Fun, fun, fun. Adrienne says, I'm behind on videos too. This is my busy time of the year. I'm actually doing my last live November 4th and won't be going live again till January. Ooh, I suppose busy for the holidays and everything that's happening. I'm glad you are feeling good. Awesome. I'm glad you're here. I'm making Christmas gifts this year and need to get started. Speaking of Christmas gifts, let me show you what I just took out of the kiln this morning. Little snowmen. Let me take this off. They're Christmas ornaments. They have a little wire in the back. And these ones are flattened like the snowman is melting. They're so funny. The video will be up on my other channel this afternoon. And so I'm going to give one of the snowmen away. This is the other snowman I made. But everything that I made yesterday for ornaments started out with round circles. And except for this one was the very last one I was cutting. And I was going to do the circle like the rest of them. And then because you can see where all the circles were cut around it. So then I just took my saw and I made all these indentations. And I thought, that's kind of a fun snowflake. And you can't really tell. But besides the blue, it has a whole bunch of clear dichroic glass. So then when the light hits it a certain way, especially Christmas lights, it sparkles. But I made some funky ones, and I made a Christmas tree. Only look at this hat. The very tip of the Christmas tree moved in the kiln. And so this little yellow dot was right down there. But it just happens in the kiln. But there's a few other ones that I made, and stripes, and so that video will go up later on today. Greenback girl, hello, how are you? Will not be passing out candy. Live true rural. That, really, if you live rural, most of the time the kids are going to go into town if they're going to go trick-or-treating, so that they don't have to go so far in between things. And there's a lot of people that just don't like Halloween. And so those are just, personal preferences, I think. I can't believe I just found your glass channel about a month ago. I only started it this summer. But we hit over 500 subscribers. And so I'm going to do a special video this weekend with a special giveaway on that. And so I'm excited about that. Adrienne says, we're making a huge life-changing move. Oh, that is interesting, intriguing. I will have to keep my eye open and see all that. Please tell me you're going on your Etsy store. Yeah, I'll have them on my Etsy store, but you can always just tell me and I can mail them to you too. You don't have to buy it through the Etsy. It's totally up to you guys, whatever you want to do. But besides giving out candy or carving pumpkins, is there any other traditions that you guys are doing that might be unique for Halloween or a harvest dinner, a harvest festival? I just made my no-bake pumpkin pie, and I did a video about that. That was very tasty. In fact, we still have some of it, a couple of slices of it left. And so that was fun to do. And we're just having a really fun time down here. We're going to, in the village, they have a Halloween dinner. And you have to have a costume. Well, I do not know what to do for a costume. I don't want to go buy a costume because I won't use it again. So any suggestions that you guys have that I could, from things that are just around my house? Well, hi, Brandy and Charlie. How are ya? You are so sweet. How are you feeling, Charlie? I don't know if it's Brandy or Charlie on the live, or both of you. But I hope, Charlie, you're feeling much, much better, because I know it was a tough time for a little while for you. And so I hope you're feeling better. But I'm trying to figure out a costume to wear for the dinner on Sunday. And I mean, I have scarves here. I have my regular clothes, but there's got to be something I could use from around the house. I just don't know. Adrian says, I don't really celebrate Halloween, not for any particular reason. Maybe in the future years we will pass out candy if they celebrate where we're going. Oh, you are so intriguing. I'm going to have to find out. Oh, it's Charlie is here. So I hope you're feeling better. Todd says, I have to tell you, I'm a big kid at Halloween and give candy out and scare the kids when they come to my door. That is awesome. Adrian says, you could be like something representing fall. That's true. I'll have to think about that. Yeah. I was video chatting with my youngest granddaughter last night. She's next month she turns 3. And so I asked her what she was going to be for Halloween, because I knew they were going to some trunk and treat things. And tomorrow they have this thing downtown where they live in the square. And so she tells me she's going to be Catboy. Now, I have no idea who Catboy is. I guess it's a young superhero. And so then she wants to know what I'm going to be. And I said, I'm going to be Catboy, even though I don't even know who Catboy is. And she says, no, you can't be Catboy. I'm Catboy. And I said, no, I'm Catboy too. And then she gets real serious. And she says, okay, you be Catboy. I'll be a doctor. So I don't know how that little brain of hers works, but somehow Catboy was totally out of the picture, and now she's going to be a doctor. But she's wandering around talking to me, and she's got a little tutu on. She's got bracelets, little patent leather shoes on, and she's just being her silly little self. But you have to love them because they're just so fun. But Joe said, I asked Joe what he was going to be. And he says, I am going to be myself. I am not dressing up. Joe doesn't like that kind of stuff. So, but I might be able to convince him to wear his bib overalls, because then he could be a farmer. And he has his bibs down here because he uses them when he works outside. And so then he would be dressed up. So I could go as a vineyard chick. I'm wearing their t-shirt today. The vineyard chicks, I have to tell you, came to my rescue. They live in Michigan. If you haven't ever watched their videos, they're 3 young girls, and they do all kinds of gardening and cooking, and they're just cute as can be. Well, I got down here, and I have my towers. You know, they're 3-part towers, and I planted a whole bunch of flowers. But on my one, I wanted to do strawberries, and I couldn't find strawberries any place. And I tried ordering them. I couldn't get them until later. And so I was talking about it one day, and the vineyard chicks sent me an email, and they had a whole bunch of runners. And so they clipped off the runners. And so I have them planted, but I haven't put the tower together again because the roots weren't very big, and I don't want them to get too hot in the sun. So they came to the rescue. So I'm going to do a video next week when I put the towers all together and thank them for coming to my rescue. Adrian says, do you have any fancy clothes? I do. I have a couple dresses that are, I'm not sure I'd call them, well, yeah, I guess one of them I could call cocktail attire. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. And yeah, that would be okay. Nana, how are ya? We live in a smaller development with only a few kids. I give out handfuls of snack-sized candies and make a few bagged treats with no peanuts for the little girl next door. That is so sweet. I know sometimes when you don't have very many trick-or-treaters, when you do have them, you just take just handfuls and put them in there. But we always loved, Halloween when we were little kids. And when our kids were small, they loved them. Oh, Teresa's got to go. So, Teresa, thanks for stopping by. Nana, is this the first time you have been in one of my lives? If it is, thank you so much for stopping by. Make something that looks like an olive for a hat. That is a fun idea. And I could probably do that. Huh. You got the wheels turning in, Adrian. Adrian, I was going to make a cup of tea this morning, and I went to my cupboard, and it was like, oh, because, we're in Arizona right now instead of Wyoming, and I use that cup I won from you all the time. And I went to get my cup, your cup that I won from you, and I forgot. That's in my other cupboard back home. So it was like, oh, that's a hard thing about living in 2 different places. You look for things and it's like, oh, I don't have that here. I have it back home. Or I'm back home and it's like, oh, it's down in Arizona. It's just craziness. But that's just the way it is, and eventually we'll have enough stuff at both places. But my mom says that they've been coming down for 25 years, and there's still things that all of a sudden it's like, it's at the other place. And it says, I wore a white sheet wrapped around like a toga and pinned a few fake lettuce greens to my dress. I was a Caesar salad. I like the idea. I could easily make a toga because I have white sheets, because down here, when you leave, it's dusty in Arizona. So what you do, Caesar salad. What you do is you cover everything with sheets. And so you cover your couches and anything that you leave, that, your bed stuff, your chairs, everything you cover with white sheets. So that is a great idea. Then I can use some cordage or a long scarf to tie the toga. Okay, that is an easy idea. So now it's in between a cocktail or a Caesar salad. I'll have to see what Joe thinks. So fun. You guys are great giving me ideas. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. Are you guys dressing up? Any of you? Are you going to any dinners or parties and you are dressing up as something? You'll have to let me know about that too. And Joe has gone to the transfer station, dropping off those leaves. It's about 5 miles out of town. And my dad says that part of it, they take all the way to Phoenix. So that's interesting because wouldn't you think that they could chop them up and compost them here and there'd be enough people that would want that soil? But they take part of it to Phoenix. And I thought, they must have some kind of huge recycling plant there that's making the compost and stuff that they need it from other communities. Charmaine is here. Hello. She won one of my necklaces and she sent me a picture and it looked great on her. I was so excited that she liked it and her husband liked it. And so that was fabulous. So I've started doing lives Friday morning for the people that want it during the day. Monday night, on Mondays, for the people that work during the day. And so that's been kind of fun because different people, because some people can do it one time, some people can do it the other time, or both, And Nightbot is putting up all my members. And I don't know if Mary is still in here, but she was in here earlier. And I do need to change this part because Mary changed her channel name back to just Mary's Ranch instead of And Wild Cooking. So I have to change that for her. But Nightbot just pops in channels. But for some reason, and maybe it's because I'm not on my live long enough, because I usually try to keep it at about a half hour. Once in a while I'll go over that, but not usually. I try to keep it because I know people are busy. But for some reason, it doesn't want to put up Doug's His Way Homestead. And see, there's Karen, it's popping up. And Mary still is here. Thanks, Mary. So, and see how Mary just changed it so it just says Mary Ranch instead of Mary's Ranch and Wild Cooking. So, Mary, I will go in and change that today so I get that done. And see, my brain just goes. It's just, I switch topics and then I'm gone. Oh, anyway, His Way Homestead. It doesn't want to pop up, and I've changed it so it's supposed to do it faster, because you can say how many minutes in between when it shows somebody. And I'm not really sure what the deal is. And maybe, because see there, Lala Farms is on. So it's showing different members, but for some reason, it doesn't want to show Doug. And I think I'm going to have to switch it and do it like every 2 minutes and see if it'll pop. And then it'll probably pop and pop and pop and pop. And it'll be a whole bunch of the time. But I don't know what the deal is. And it's on. It looks exactly the same as everybody else's. So if any of you guys use Nightbot and you have some suggestions, let me know because I'm not really sure why that's doing that. But we're at 33 minutes. And I know I did start a little bit early. Because I had it scheduled at 9:15 instead of 9 o'clock, and my alarm went off, and I thought it was late actually. But I am going to try to do a live stream, a test live stream using not StreamYard like I'm using right now, but a thing that's called Streamlabs. And so I'm going to try it maybe this weekend. And I'm not going to put a time up because I'm still working on how it all works together. But it's supposed to let me do it on all my social medias at the same time. Instagram, Facebook, if you had a Twitter, if you had a Twitch, all that stuff, it's supposed to do it simultaneously all at the same time. So I'm going to play with that and see if I can get that to work. And look who's here. Bunky is here. Bunky, I was talking about you guys earlier because I'm doing a video because you guys came to my rescue. And I'm just so excited about the strawberries. And so I'll have that all put together next week because I'm letting those strawberries kind of get some more root system before I put the tower together. And so they're not in the bright sun. Charmaine says, my son decorates more for Halloween than Christmas. That's interesting. I think people just pick out, what appeals to them. And so for me, I love Thanksgiving and I love Christmas and I love the 4th of July. Those are probably my favorite holidays. And Bunky says, we will make sure to rewatch. Bunky, are you doing your homework right now? Or are you just goofing around? That's what we want to know. Because it's about 20 to 10 here. So at your house, it must be about 20 to 12. So maybe you're taking a lunch break. Awesome. If you pay for StreamYard, it will allow you to stream to multiple platforms too. I do pay for StreamYard. But I don't know if it costs more. I will see. Well, the reason why I'm going to try it is because I accidentally subscribed to it. It was when I very first started StreamYard. And I went in and it was late at night and I was probably way too tired to be doing what I was doing. And I subscribed to it thinking that it was StreamYard, but it was Streamlabs. So I already paid for it. And so I thought the other day, I might as well use it. And then I can see which one I like the most. And I think usually people use Streamlabs when they're gamers, because you can actually be up in one part and have the game playing. Well, I don't game, but I think I can do some other stuff with it. And so I just thought, well, I paid for the whole year, and I emailed them and I said, hey, I made a mistake, and well, you pay for a whole year. And he says, they wrote back and said, you only have 24 hours to cancel. Well, it was past 24 hours when I realized. And so I paid for it, so I might as well try it at least, and until my subscription runs out. Todd says, we were under a tornado watch yesterday. It is very windy and cool. Some friends of mine are going to New Orleans. And I was telling my mom, and she goes, I think they're supposed to have hurricanes. So I'll have to see when they get back how their weather was, because even it could be just crazy windy. Bunky says, we do not celebrate Halloween, but we do play dress up. We decorate a lot more Christmas. I think a lot of people do a lot of things for Christmas. And, people carve pumpkins for Halloween. And not too far from our house, there is a house. And it's not in the village, but it's in the old town. In Yuma, there's a part that they call Old Town, and it's got lots of shops, and it's got old houses, and so you come down their steps, and they have this huge monster, and it looks like it's made out of metal, but I'm not sure it is. And it must be about 15 feet tall. And it's right on the sidewalk. So the little kids literally have to walk through this monster's legs to get up to go trick-or-treating. And I haven't been by there at night, but I'm thinking more than likely it lights up or it makes noise or something. So I thought I might drive by on Halloween and just see what it does. It's whoever built it, it's really pretty ingenious. And it's not like it's a store thing. It's not inflatable, but it's huge. And I thought that would probably be scary for a little kid. And they might not come to their house, but Oh, look who's here. Hi, Lynn. How are ya? Lynn, wait 1 second. I'm going to slide back. I'm always cutting things out of magazines for Lynn, but I found these in a cooking magazine. Could you use these things for any of your art projects? They have a bunch of vegetables and fruits. They're beautiful paintings that were on the magazine cover. So if you would like them, I will send them to you. But isn't that pretty? Let me see right there. So whoever their artist is a great artist that's doing it for, and they were old magazines that I got for free. And I thought, Lynn might like those. So I cut them all out and, oh, good. She says, yes. So I will do that. Funky they are. They're just beautiful. And like, look at that. You know, and I thought, what a great artist. And none of them are signed. So I suppose they just work for the company, the magazine, and that's their job. But this was one of my favorites. I love pear paintings, though. But Lynn, I will mail those out to you, and I'll actually have to. I have to go to the post office today anyway, so I will mail them today for you. She says they would be wonderful in a. They would be wonderful in a recipe journal. Yes, they would. Yeah, they're just beautiful. And yeah, it's no problem at all. I thought of you when I was going through those old magazines, and I thought, oh, I bet you Lynn could use those, because I've sent her flowers and, you know, pictures of flowers and stuff before. And I thought, oh yeah, fabulous. But it's interesting with Halloween, because Halloween, unlike other holidays, is one of those that can be controversial, you know, so we're not, you know, but I think that a lot of those things are personal preferences. If you celebrate it, if you don't celebrate it, if you hand out candy, you don't hand out candy, or you pull your blinds down and you shut off all the lights and you don't do anything. See, there's another Nightbot, and still no His Way Homestead. I don't understand. I don't understand why, you know, because like Monty's in Motion, Mary's Ranch has been up a couple times, Lazy Pond Farms has been up a couple times. Why is Doug's not coming up? I don't know. Maybe I have too many on my list, because it didn't say I had to have a certain amount only. I don't know. I took the day off doing a virtual retreat with my art group. It starts tonight. That is so fun. Yeah, you'll have to post pictures on your Instagram or something of what you guys make. Woohoo! So fun. They have a art walk down on November 12th downtown in Old Town. So I'm totally excited about that. But I think I'm going to take some of my jewelry and take it to some stores downtown, because there's a lot of little shops, and see if they'd like to sell some of my jewelry down there. So we'll see what happens. But everybody, we're at 43 minutes and 37 seconds. So I'm going to let you go. I have a whole bunch of things to do outside. And, oh, I have to tell you the craziest thing outside. You know, I planted my little fruit trees. And there's a blood orange, 2 different lemons, and a ruby red grapefruit. And something was picking all of the leaves off my little trees, you know, and they wouldn't take the whole leaf. And so Doug, I was talking about Doug at His Way Home. Joe says, well, it's probably a bug. But there was no bugs. There was no signs of bugs. And I started watching them. And I hope, how are you? And there was this bird, and we don't have this bird in Wyoming. It has a long tail. It has a white breast. It's got some blues and it's got some grays, fairly long beak. And I'd watch it, and there's some chicken wire around there, because I didn't want rabbits eating at the base. and it landed on there, jumped up onto the branches, and was picking off the leaves and then flew away with them. So, oh, and Bunky says they do it on their young trees too. I don't know if they're eating them. I don't know if they're using them for their nests. But one of the trees especially, basically every leaf had some bit off part. So we went to Home Depot last night, got some 7-foot T-posts, pounded them in the ground, and some bird netting. We put styrofoam cups on it, put the bird netting over top of it, and Joe's on the third one that he's pounding the stake in. And all of a sudden, water is coming everywhere. He hit the water line. Because we have just some water lines that we installed, it's just PVC pipe so that it waters the fruit trees when we're gone. And he hit one of those, and there is water going everywhere. And he's going, turn the water off, turn the water off. And we're trying some of the outside valves, and it wouldn't turn off. So I had to go around the side of the house and open this cap thing and turn the main valve off for the house. And so then he had to get all the water out of there and dig a trench. And luckily my dad had some extra little pieces that are connectors. And so he had to dig all that out. And then now the soil is just mud after he gets the water out of there. And so it's dark. So now we have big flashlights because we can't turn the water back on unless he fixes the pipe, because, it's going to go everywhere. So he ends up fixing it about, it must have been about 9:00 last night. And we didn't fill it back in until this morning, so it would have a good time to dry. But we turned the water on after a little while, and it didn't leak out. But I was so glad I didn't do those posts because he'd be going, why didn't you look for that? But all things are fixable usually. But it was just one of those things. And so I didn't say anything. My mom and dad got home, and my mom says, you want to come over for a piece of pie? So we go over there, and I get there before Joe does. And first thing Joe says, did you rat me out? And I said, I didn't say anything. I figured if you wanted my dad to know that you hit that pipe, you tell him. So, but that's just the way it is. Hope says it was the bird's idea. That's right. But everybody, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for stopping by on my Friday morning. And sometime this weekend, don't be surprised when there's a pop-up live stream, and it's just because I'm trying out that Stream Lab instead of StreamYards. And we will see what happens. But thank you so much. I hope you have a fun Halloween if you are celebrating it. Karen, I'm going to look for your video on using the cookie cutters and the hammer. And I'm going to go buy a pumpkin today and try that. And look for my video next week on using a Cinderella pumpkin and planting succulents on top. So everybody have a blessed weekend, and I will see you next time.